Welcome back to Miss Max Academy. In this video, we're going to explore how to find arc length. Let's take a look at our notes window. The length of an arc of a circle is the product of the ratio of the measure of the arc over 360 and the circumference of a circle. Just to review the vocab, product means multiply, and a ratio is comparison of two numbers by division. So here's our ratio, measure of arc in degrees divided by 360. We're going to multiply that by the circumference of the circle. So to find the measure of arc AB, which is this arc right here, we would find the arc measure, which is an angle measurement, divided by 360, and then multiply it by 2 pi r. This is one of our formulas for circumference of a circle. We should recognize by now that 2 times the radius is in fact the diameter of a circle. So another way to find the length of AB would be to find the measure of arc AB divided by 360 and multiply it by pi times diameter. I'd like to say I have a common sense approach to the definition of arc length. I like to say that arc length is piece of circumference. The word piece tells me I have a fraction. The word of tells me I need to multiply. And we know that the circumference of a circle is either 2 pi r or pi d. So here's a very simple way to look at the formula for arc length. It's arc measure divided by 360 times 2 pi r, which is the circumference of the circle. Remember, piece tells us we have a fraction, of tells us to multiply, and here is one of our formulas for circumference of a circle. Likewise, we can write that formula with d, the diameter of a circle. So let's try some problems, or a problem. Find the length of arc ACB. So let's take a look at arc ACB. That's from here all the way to here. Clearly this is a major arc. And if this central angle BEC is 60, minor arc BC would be 60. I can clearly see that AC is the diameter of the circle. So that means this semicircle would have a measurement of 180 degrees. That means the measure of my arc in degrees, remember arcs are measured in degrees, the measure of my arc would be 240 degrees. We need that measurement because we know that arc length is piece of circumference. So let's see, we have the measure of my arc. Let's write down what we know here. The measure of my arc, this should be a B, not a D, is 240 degrees. We also know that the diameter here, we have a diameter, the distance across the circle, is 5 meters. So let's plug into our formula. Again, arc length is piece of circumference. So I expect to start with a fraction. The word of means multiply, and we're going to use one of our two circumference formulas. And in this case, we're going to use pi times diameter because we're given diameter. So our arc length would be equal to 240 divided by 360 because our arc measure was 240 degrees times pi times 5, which is our diameter. Let's reduce this fraction before we move on. We can clearly see that we have a common factor of 10 in the numerator and the denominator. So we know we can divide the top and the bottom by 10. That would give us 24 over 36. And then we should also see that we have a common factor of 12 in the numerator and denominator. So let's simplify that fraction before we move on. So here's our common factors of 10. 10 goes into itself once. Here's our common factor of 12. And we're left with 2/3 times pi times 5. 2/3 times pi times 5 would just be 2 times 5, which is 10 times pi, because we multiply straight across in the numerator, divided by 3. This is called our exact answer, or our answer in terms of pi. Well, what would the decimal answer look like? Well, let's take a look at our calculator. Okay, in your calculator, please hit 10 times your pi key. And you should get a number 31.415, and that makes sense because pi is 3.14, and when you multiply by 10, you should get something like 31.415. And then hit divide by 3. And you should find that the arc length is 10.47 meters. That is our decimal answer rounded to the nearest hundredths. And that is how you determine arc length.